Jim, let's get to AEW
Yes.
Dynamite.
Huntsville, Alabama.
They have been all over the South recently. Now they are in Alabama, and they've been there a lot in the past. And it's a big AEW Dynamite with a long
run time.
everything, yes.
Yeah. And fortunately, it's probably not going to take us as long to talk about it as usual because it was so long. But they were in Huntsville, and I don't know if you can Googlefy the crowd there. But again, this show was almost an example of everything that you would expect them to do wrong and almost nothing you would expect them to do right. And they start out with go ahead.
If I could jump in real quick.
Yeah.
The Von Braun Center, Probst Arena.
And actually they had it's Probst Arena now because it used to be the Von Braun Civic Center, named after famous astrophysicist Werner von Braun, because Huntsville was big with the space program. They had the plant down there. So now somebody's horned in and got naming rights on Werner's fucking building.
Was he the inspiration for Von Brauners?
Probably. He because Werner Kemplerer is the only other Werner that I know, and Colonel Klink came after Werner von Braun.
According to WrestleTix, 2,305 tickets distributed.
What is the seating capacity of the Von Braun Civic Center there? The Probst Arena or whatever, because it's a lot more than that.
Yeah, give me a moment. I'll pull that up just for the record. They were there last year, February 28th, so a little less than a year ago. Dynamite, 3,413.
It probably wasn't close to being full with that either. But while you look at overall seating capacity, you've got it again. Boom.
Okay, well, that's someone else's trademark, but we go now to Wikipedia.
I forgot about the boom fellas.
According to Wikipedia, the Probst Arena, 8,300 for theater seating.
For theater seating. That's a weird way to phrase an arena. Does that mean with nothing on the floor?
Because, it has your banquet ballroom, and then it has theater seating, 8,300 for Probst Arena, 1955 for the Smith Concert Hall, 1575 for the Mars Music Hall. That's where I want to go. And the Playhouse, 502.
All right. They used to just have an arena there. Maybe they've split it up or they've built some new shit or whatever. But the point is, there weren't many fucking people here.
Yeah, maybe next time run the Smith Concert Hall.
Maybe next time have Harley Cameron come out and give a concert. But they started off automatically with, here comes our friend Will Ostrich. And he looks like a Batman villain. Here comes the fine feathered fiend with the robe and the thing he's got going on, and he's flapping his wings.
He's not flapping his wings.
He's throwing his arms in the air, and he's got the feathers, right? He's flapping his wings. I'm telling you, if he came out in the third season of Lost in Space, he'd look even more ridiculous than the Carrot Man. But anyway, and he's wrestling Brian Cage because we want to see that for 15 solid minutes real bad.
And we saw him, was it last week he lost to Omega?
I don't retain this.
Or was it 2 weeks ago? Well, whatever. He lost to Omega, then they had the brawl last week, I guess it was. And now this match.
Well, and Cage has grown his hair out again. Now he looks like Steve Blackman on steroids. At one point, he was a jacked up T-Joe Khan. Then he had the whole fucking mohawk thing. I don't know what the fuck's going. But anyway, they're starting this match at the top of the show. But before the bell, our friend Don Fallis is over at Color at the announce desk. And he stands up and tells Osprey, look at the screen. And they show on the screen Kenny is down on the floor in the back with the referees checking on him, and he's been beaten up. I wrote, "De clown is down," in the words of Tony Gurria.
How did they set this up exactly? So Don Callis is in cahoots with the production truck, and they just cut to it when he said, cut to the assault!
Yes, cut now to the assault that we just perpetrated so that we can show you this. And then Cage jumps Osprey from behind while he's looking at it. And then they just ring the bell and have the match. And you don't know shit from apple butter about what's going on. Kenny's fallopian tubes may have spilled out onto the goddamn floor. But they're off of that now. And the corpse referee was officiating. So that means that they can do anything they want to do because he don't know what the fuck's going on. And anyway, nobody wants to hear about the match. We will skip that because that saves 15 minutes of your life. But finally, Osprey reversed a fucking, I don't know, a double goose fucking fraba and barely hit a Styles Clash on Cage because he didn't trap his one arm, and thankfully he went with it anyway. 1, 2, 3, and he's a heavy motherfucker to begin with, and that was that. And then suddenly here's Lance Archer, boom, and he jumps in there and starts getting heat on Osprey, and it's kind of blasé heat that went nowhere, and it wasn't with any sense of urgency, and the people were kind of sitting there bored.
We've said this in the last few weeks, but it keeps happening with these same guys. They don't know how to do a beatdown. They don't know how to throw the blows. They don't know how to do anything other than just mug the person, just jump
and
on them.
Many of them don't know how to take it. And there's an art to getting the shit kicked out of you also. You can keep them active and you can fight back a little bit at the start instead of one tackle pancake. They hit somebody one time, they're down, and they just boom. Remember the old footage of any major baby face in any territory. When they jump him, he fought back, and then the numbers finally got him. It was a struggle. And then the fucking heels look like they're meaning to do something and get away with it in a limited period of time. Not like, well, we've got all the time. We want to do this. We can take our time and walk around. Nobody's obviously going to interfere with this because it wasn't in the production meeting. It's just blah. So then the people are sitting there, and then they play the music, and here comes Kenny. And Kenny slides in with a chair, and he hits. You've got a goddamn blunt instrument in your hand. You've got a chair in your hand. There's this big fucking 6'9" guy or whatever. So what's the first thing you do? You take it and you run it, the edge of it, into his stomach so that he will bend over and stand in a stooped over stationary position so you can get a different grip, and then draw back and then hit him in the back while he's looking over like, are you going to hit me yet? The fuck?
Well, did you see Brian Cage was just standing there waiting for his turn?
Oh, yes. Well, Cage is standing there looking like, well, I wish he'd hurry up and get to me because I don't really have anything to do. And then he just threw the chair at him. So boom, he just bounce off and go on about his business, take the bump out.
He literally could have grabbed the chair out of Omega's hands. Instead, he stood there waiting for his turn to take the chair shot.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, if you don't know how to work on either side of that equation, if a motherfucker cannot, if you're going to hit a guy with a chair and you can't slide in and give the guy one good shot over the head with the fucking chair and him take it, and neither one of you are able to work enough to where that it would in any way be injurious to his fucking health, then don't come in with a fucking chair. Instead of doing this stagey indie outlaw bullshit. A gut shot with the fucking edge of a fucking chair. And then again, timing. They don't know how to get heat. They don't know how to make saves. They don't know how to feed. Whatever the fuck. But nevertheless, boom, he hits him, throws the chair at Cage, and he goes to help Will. And as they're holding off those heels, here comes fucking Kyle Felcher and take a shit. And now it's 4-on-2. Go ahead.
Now, that was the first time where you're like, okay, the segment could end right now. It's gone a while because it was with the match, and that went a while.
Yes.
Perfect time to end it.
Yes.
Right now. I maybe kind of want to see more.
It looks like that maybe Will and Kenny are going to put past them their personal picadillos and pussiness.
In this match alone, Kenny overcame getting this attack backstage and ran out there. This was the perfect time to end it right here.
Yes. But no. Because here comes Felcher and take a shit. And now it's 4-on-2, and they get through the same thing they just did. They all get more lackluster heat. Only now There's just more of them. And then they pick the baby faces up and give them double pile drivers in the middle of the ring. And then they stand there. And nobody came out to try to help. Not even a goddamn production assistant waving their arms like, we don't care if you've broken their necks, but you've gone over time. There was no attempt at containing this heinous business that people are standing there. By the end of it, could care less. He heats up. He cools down. He's all over the fucking page. Is all the baby faces. They get the shit kicked out of them. They come back. They start a fight. They get the shit kicked out of them again. Nobody tries to help. It's obviously not important to anybody in the company. And there's no sense of urgency from the heels. This is something that nobody talks about, maybe because nobody except me talking about it has ever actually had any goddamn experience. The more urgency that the heels are perpetrating their heinous act with, the more the people sense that it's something they're trying to get away with instead of just something that's part of the show or something that it doesn't matter or something that's just blasé or whatever. We were legitimately trying to, when you would beat up the baby faces or you would injure somebody with some angle, a tennis racket in the throat or a chair in the fucking head or fucking barbed wire dildo up the yin yang, whatever.
ECW.
Yeah, there you go. You were trying to get away with something. You were hurrying in a working way. You weren't rushing to the point where the people would miss it. You made the point of the thing. The actual act was accentuated, but there was an urgency to your actions as you were trying to get away with something before eventually someone or some forces came that would have been able to prevent it. But God damn it, they were just that late. That's what makes an impact. And I have felt, as I said, as a performer in the past, when you're doing it, you're trying to get away with something. That's the way you're looking at it. You're like, somebody's going to come stop me. I've got to do this and this and this, and we're going to make bang. And that imparts more of a sense of, oh shit, instead of just this endless wandering around, turning in circles and waiting for somebody else to come out. Because that's another thing you can tell. Anytime I produce television, Smoky Mountain Wrestling, Ohio Valley Wrestling, Ring of Honor, if the guys were doing an angle where there was going to be somebody hitting the ring and making a comeback and then there was something else happening, there would be some level of knowledge of the people in the ring as when we were going to send whoever we were going to send. We didn't say just go ahead and get heat and then we'll send them. Now we used to back in the territory days, we'll send them when it's right because everybody knew what they were doing. But no, when you get this or you have that done, then we're going to send so-and-so and he needs to fucking blow a big comeback and a blah, blah, blah. And you would somewhat give the thing a structure so that it would keep moving and there would be the roller coaster ride, the peaks and valleys. They just send people out there and say, well, just get some heat on them. And then you go out. Well, what's my cue to go out? Oh, just let them get some heat. It's disjointed. I don't know what the fuck's going on. And everybody has to come out and get heat. So anyway, that was that. What did you think of that?
It went on way too long. And again, Kenny got beat down in the segment during the match in the back. Then he got beat down when he came out. And then the beatdown just continued again. Like they didn't want to end. It's just endless beatdowns on this show. And
then Archer went to business for himself, I think, and started hitting him in the gullet with the chair like he was trying to rupture his diverticulitis again.
It's not a perfect example because not everyone's a chicken shit heel, but I think like Jimmy Hart, when he would jump in there and just start doing those little kicks that he would do to the guy on the mat, there was always a sense of urgency. Like, I have only X amount of time. I'm going to get as many kicks in as possible before I have to run or get punched in the face by Lawler or whatever it may be.
And also the thing was the kicks didn't hurt, but it was humiliating because look, now that the guy's down, there's that little fucking weaselly, don't weigh 150 pounds. And look at him kicking him. He's kicking him like a fucking Tinkerbell. And that was but there's no element of that here. It's just people going through the motions of doing shit that they've seen on fucking wrestling television. And I'm sick and fucking tired of it.
Two things. One,
Yes.
I'm sure that that'll be the best match on the Australia event, that tag match probably, with Takesha and Fletcher versus Omega and Ospreay.
Oh, they better have ambulances standing by. They'll probably dive off the roof of the fucking stadium. Well, I forgot they're not in a stadium anymore. They'll dive off the roof of the arena.
If that doesn't go to 9 stars, there's a problem. But secondly, is there any merit at all to the argument that Omega and Ospreay beat up all 4 of these guys last week, moonsaulting off the Knoxville mezzanine or loge section in the Coliseum, whatever it was, and the lighting pole? That they needed to get beat down before the match? That it was, the other guys, not turn, but the right thing to do? Anything to that? Was it needed?
Well, but see, then you're expecting me to justify what they did last week to explain why this week was still wrong. The thing is, it's endemic and it's embedded in what they do. That what do you come back with the following week from double moonsaults out of the balcony and the fucking lighting stands with? Well, should they have run them over with a car this week? Because next week the stadium show, they're going to have to fucking. Somebody's got to be set on fire. Fire the flamethrower up again. It's all been so much for so long.
I guess it goes to my overall point, and it's been a point.
The overall point is, but shouldn't they get something back since I'm
not saying they should. I'm saying that's an argument. I don't think they should. I think the problem is too many babyfaces are getting beat down on the pay-per-views and Dynamite.
Well, yeah. Here's the thing, and somebody said Uncle Dave was trying to pontificate on this recently in his publication and say he had quantified it. Well, like this % of the time, then I believe that the baby faces should look strong just to make sure that, the people still believe it. At the same time, you've got to have the other % of the. And again, it's like somebody's trying to fucking put him in a math class and have him figure this out. It's unique, it's emotions, and it's a feel. That's why bookers have a feel. That's why people who have done this, and right now the WWE, they have a feel in a lot of cases, like the bookers used to, of when you can sacrifice. Strowman doesn't mean anything to us right now, so we can get Fatu over that. But it's a feeling. There's no formula for it. There's no way you can quantify it mathematically. The guys in the territory days where they were in front of many of the same audiences in the same towns on a weekly or monthly basis, they were the best at feeling it. You need to get a babyface over with the fans that they believe in him and that more often than not, he would succeed in winning the title or achieving his goal or getting even with the fucking asshole if he got a fair shot at it. And once you establish a couple of those, one specifically in your territory, then you could take some out of his bank account to make a new heel. A new heel comes in by shitting in this guy's post toasties. And then you try to keep it interesting for as long as you can, but you still can't let the fans lose belief that in the end, their hero can get even with this fucking guy and they want to see it. And so all along the way is feeling, depending on the people involved, the situation, the crowds, what they buy. I've seen baby faces get over by being beaten in their initial appearances, but at the same time, the sympathy went with them enough that the people stayed with them. And, there's no formula for it, but it's common sense. And when you've done too much of everything to everybody, then nothing registers the way it should with your fans because they've seen it. Or they've seen something similar. And they've seen so much of it. So that is the problem. They don't have the baby face that the people believe in, but they also can't get heat on the heels Because not only do the people know that of course, it's all fucking bullshit, but also that what can you do to a fucking human being to make people mad that that incident was done when the people don't really truly like almost any of your baby faces and they've seen everything done already to a body. So then you're just you're indie wrestling, which is where they're at right fucking now. Because that works in indie wrestling because it's not on TV and the local crowd only either 200 people see it once a month or 500 people see it twice a year. I'm sorry, am I on a soapbox here?
No, but I think that was very educational, and you brought up obviously a lot of great points that bookers should pay attention to, but sometimes they just wait until it's in the Observer before they pay attention to it.
You know, and the top guys with the booker would sit down. You can see Nick Bockwinkel and Ray Stevens in a fucking room with fucking Bruiser and Crusher and Gagne or whatever. Well, you know, we need to get something back, but we can't lose our heat. And it would be a negotiation. Well, we should do this, you should do that, and they would come up with it because they knew what the fuck they were doing, because they'd done it, and they had a feel for their audience. But everybody's different depending on their persona, how they're presented, and what the issue is. So there's no formula, but that's why it's an art. You've got to feel it and know when a baby face is getting over or a heel's getting over. But when you're beating them too much or making them like they did with MJF, that's a classic example of how to kill a hot heel. And with a baby face, they haven't really had anybody get over as baby faces more than when they debuted in AEW, except for the Hurt Syndicate. Just because they look like stars and are actually beating people. But I digress.
Well, again, it was a long opening segment, and although educational, a long review.
Yes.
And sometimes after things like this, a man would like to lay down and take a nap or go to bed or just say goodnight, I'll see you tomorrow for French toast in the morning.
Just say good night and have a pleasant tomorrow.
What does Kenny do? Good night and au revoir. What does he say? Good night.
He says, wait a minute. Good
day.
Good day. Wait a minute. Hold, now you've scared it out of me, as Mama Cornette would say. He says,
and have a pleasant tomorrow.
Good night, good news, mwah, and bang. I don't know. He's either kissing us off or shooting at us.
See, the funny thing is, every single thing you can imagine Miss Piggy saying. Good night, mwah, I love you, bang, bang. Well, he doesn't do bang, bang. It's just one bang, right?
Just one bang. Well, that's old one bang Kenny. That's what the girls all say. But I'll tell you what, hey, folks, whether you want to just lay down or get one bang.
That's why he's not in the Bang Bang Gang.
Well, the Bang Bang, it was all ganging up on the banging, and he couldn't take that. He's a private kind of guy. But folks, if you want to have a gangbang, we know what you can lay down on.
Let's not incorporate that activity.
Well, you know it's happened.
Well, of course it's happened. It's happening right now as we're recording in some places.
I mean on a Helix mattress.
Oh, I meant at the Marriott.
It just depends on. Wait a minute, it's checkout time right now. They better not be. But you know it's happened on a Helix mattress, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of things have happened on a Helix mattress, but they won't sell you one that those things have happened on specifically. They'll send you a brand new one. You can put, did you do this, Brian, when you got your Helix mattress? Did you put the black light on it?
No, of course not. It was brand new. It was sealed. It was clean.
You still, everything that comes in the house has to have the black light passed over it just to make sure that it doesn't need to go back inside the decontamination chamber.
Do you just walk around with this black light?
Yes, every 2 weeks. But I'll tell you, folks, these Helix mattresses, they're going to be spotless under black light. Well, at least until Uncle Harry comes and pays a visit. But if you limit his Van Camp's pork and beans, then maybe you'll get by with it. But I'll tell you what, no matter what size mattress you need for how many people or how big the people are that are going to be banging in the gang, these things will wear up under stress. And if you want to have a pleasant tomorrow, then it starts with having a good night. And of course, that's where Helix can come in handy. Of course, for you newer listeners who may not be fully apprised of the situation, Helix makes the greatest mattresses on the face of the planet, like sleeping inside the warm belly of a puppy. Can you imagine any more comforting experience than that?
Yeah, maybe being on the outside of the puppy, we're just cuddling with your puppy.
Well,
the inside of the belly doesn't sound like it would be that soft. It sounds like it would be filled with like guts and.
Well, but then you'd be cold on it. You'd be cold on the other side if you weren't inside the puppy's belly.
I mean,
but I agree with you.
How cold is it outside? I mean,
we'll make sure the guts are removed. But nevertheless, if you'd like to take your puppy and sleep together on the Helix mattress, that in the states that's still legal, and I believe Kentucky's one of them. I think I'm safe. I think that's permissible. Or if you want to let your spouse in on this thing too, spouses like these mattresses because, well, you got plenty of room to spread out. And whether you like to sleep on your back or your side, or whether you like to sleep without sweating to death or without freezing, they'll warm you up. They'll cool you down. They got the fat people mattress. They got the children's mattress, the little itty bitty thing. Boy, the mailman can tuck that right under his arm. They got the kids mattress. If you research online, folks, what stunts kids' growth, feed them plenty of that. These kids' mattresses will be good for 10 years of their life.
Well, you don't know. No, don't look at it like that. Use it for the appropriate time and then get ready for the next Helix sleep mattress.
I thought you meant get ready for the next kid you're going to have.
Well, the next kid will get the next mattress.
See, that's the thing. You're going to have 4 or 5 kids just to get, the full use out of this Helix Sleep children's mattress because they last so long. So get ready to get the big Helix mattress and start practicing now. All you do is go to helixsleep.com, folks, and you take the quiz about the kind of ways you like to sleep and the firmness or the hardness of how you like it. And then they will pick out the mattresses that they make that fit you like a glove. And then once it arrives and poof, it comes into shape right where you want it to, then it'll just be like you've just crawled into a goddamn glove. You won't want to get out. It's like a rose in the fisted glove. Except you will not be fisted by any gloves on any mattress, except, of course, if you've made separate arrangements. But right now, ladies and gentlemen.
Right now, we're going to go in a different direction and tell you about a great mattress that you can go to sleep on right now or tomorrow.
Well, I'll tell you what, just the New Year's sale is in its final hours through February the 2nd. I don't even know when you're going to hear this, folks, but you can get right now as I speak 20% off site-wide and 2 free dream pillows with every mattress purchase by going to helixsleep.com/JCE. helixsleep.com/JCE. 20% off site-wide and 2 free dream pillows with a mattress purchase. So let's say if you buy 5 mattresses, then you'll get 100% off and 10 pillows. So that's amazing. helixsleep.com/JCE for the things that I just described forthwith.
That's right, a great mattress. We love them and endorse them here at Last Manor. Helix Sleep. All right, we are back. It's time to wake up and get back to Dynamite.
That's the shortest night's sleep I ever had on a Helix mattress. So they're plugging February 15th in Australia on Max and something or live or what. There's no way. They're saying it's going to air, but there's still no time. Like here, this day and time is where you can see this thing. It's going to air, right?
We believe so. I think, again, I don't have it in front of me. Is it like the NBA All-Star Game? There's something else that is a priority for TNT.
You think?
That day, so they can't air it.
Fucking, one of the fucking master control engineers' wife is going to have a baby. So, but then Renee Moxleygood was in the back. Adam Page was looking everywhere for Swerve Strickland, couldn't find him. Bumped into MJF. They exchanged nasty looks, and Paige walked off. Now, I thought Paige had just been shamed into being a babyface. Hadn't he?
He had. Maybe that's why he was going to try to find Swerve. Like, hey,
But to apologize?
let's let bygones be bygones. You terrorized my kid. I blew up your house.
You know, they do share blood at least one way.
Let's call the whole thing off.
Which one drank the other?
He drank Swerve's.
Paige drank Swerve's blood, so Paige is a blood brother to Swerve.
Maybe that's it. I don't know. Maybe he's going to attack him again, but that would be a heel move. Whatever it was, he bumped into clearly a heel MJF.
And then MJF knocked him and then cut a promo about Jeff Jarrett, which we'll get to shortly. But in between, they also had a promo from Hobbs where, well, I wasn't cleared to come back tonight. You dumb shit. Maybe you shouldn't have dove off the goddamn bridge with the guy. Think about that. How many more ways can they make Hobbs look like a dumbass? Either they beat him. Sometimes we see him, sometimes we don't. Then they beat him up. He never wins anything. Then the other night, as I mentioned on Collision, mentioned on the previous show we did, Archer just just demoralized this fucking guy. And then his comeback was to belly Archer and himself off the stage through a couple of tables to the floor where they both laid there dead. So now instead of Archer on here saying, oh, goddamn, that Hobbs beat me with an inch of my life and he broke all my ribs. I can't breathe. It's Hobbs saying, well, I'm not cleared to wrestle tonight. Oh, Christ. I mean, is it just me? Brian, I'm just asking you, is it just me?
Maybe this is a step up because usually he gets hurt and just disappears and we don't see him for a long time.
Now he gets to come out and admit that he's got the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah, this was almost like I'll be back very soon. Not like a Bandito, hey, I'm going to do a drop kick. I'll see you in a year. Where's Bandito? Was that concussion that bad? From that
they're not usually good.
But I mean,
remember, this has only been a month.
Yeah, I guess so. Feels like longer. These shows have been very long.
Yes. So then we got to the match where if Jeff Jarrett wins over Claudio Castagnoli, then he gets a world title match with Dick the Boozer himself to fulfill his...
drive away viewers in record fashion.
But it would fulfill his dream that we've heard about for 6 weeks now of being the world champion in his final year. I can't help it.
Right after Cena announced the same exact thing.
Yeah. And they were in Huntsville, Alabama, so they wanted to like Jeff, right? The people here in the building. If they had any reason to be behind Jeff, these people were susceptible to it. So, but again, they had a match, and it's in the middle of all of this shit, nothing. Claudio and Jeff. And finally, the finish was, here comes old Wheelie Useless. And he slides a chair in the ring and then jumps up to the apron, but Jeff nails him. And he goes down, and the referee then bends over and starts trying to get this guy out of the ring. And it's like he's glued to the mattress, no matter what to the mat. See, I did the healing
sleep, ladies and gentlemen.
Healing sleep. He's glued to the mat. And there's no way the referee he's just there forever. Meanwhile, he's ignoring that 5 feet behind him, Claudio has picked up the chair. Claudio swings the chair. Jeff ducks it. The chair falls. Jeff goes for the fucking stroke, but Dick the Boozer comes in. And while Jeff's bent over, grabs him in a double arm DDT. And then they flip the chair out and the Boozer rolls out of the fucking ring. And now the referee turns around from shoving this one guy. And the crowd was disgusted booing at that point because they went so far that it's like, you expect us to even buy this. This is so fucking. And Claudio hit a sloppy finish and then picked him up and did it again. And it looked worse the second time. Same fucking thing. 1, 2, 3. I don't know if he thought that he had it. It was close enough the first time But maybe he thought, oh, that was the shits, I'll do it again, and it was the shitsier. In the shitsy scale. Are you familiar, Brian, with the shitsy scale?
I watched Dynamite. I think I saw the advent of the shitsy scale.
So then Jeff was laid out, and the heels left, and the fans were lightly, Double J, Double J. And then MJF's music hits. And he comes out to the ring. And as Jeff is getting up to his feet, MJF gets in with the microphone and starts to talk and says about 3 words and just levels Jeff with a fucking shot with the Dynamite diamond ring. And just cut a short little promo to Jeff's unconscious body. Because you're a legend, I respect you. I'm not gonna say I told you so. And then he walked off. So Jeff got laid out and beat, and then got up and got laid out again by a different person with 1 punch. And then MJF left. MJ left.
Why would any fan want to be behind Jeff Jarrett right now? They've given you no reason beyond like the initial promos to believe in him. And now really, I mean, you don't want to see him against Moxley, and kind of want MJF to just keep bumping into Adam Page or something.
I wouldn't want to be behind him now if he was one of those fat people on a scooter at Walmart. Because he's like, Jesus Christ, I'll never get around this fucking roadblock. What story are they? All right.
Was there any heat for Moxley coming in there? That's the other problem. Top heel in the company, world champion.
No, it's not like when, again, on one of the WWE programs, if somebody at that level slides into the ring, the place goes, oh shit, they're like, no. And then on this journey through hysteria, we were almost at the 9 o'clock hour. So we got Ricochet versus AR Fox. But the rule was if Swerve interfered in the match, then his match with Ricochet, wherever the fuck they're going to have that, it would be off then. He'd lose that. And this thing started at 10 minutes till 9 and was still going at the 9 o'clock hour. So you got Ricochet versus a guy that comes in every once in a while and does jobs for 10 solid minutes leading up to the top of the hour, which couldn't have been beneficial, one would think. But at 9:01, Brian, I'll have you know, and that's Eastern Standard Time now, Ricochet hit some kind of fucking move, 1, 2, 3, and then pulled out the golden scissors. Golden scissors! And as he's going to stab the fucking job guy that he just beat, apparently, for what reason, we don't know, here comes Swerve. Now he can interfere because the match is over. And he starts beating up Ricochet. But Ricochet, when he's almost in position to be double stomped off the top rope, grabs AR Fox and lays down and hides behind him with the scissors to his throat as a hostage fucking situation, and rolls out on the floor and then scurries off for higher ground after putting the scissors to some. That's 2 weeks in a row that he, by the way, he has put scissors to someone's throat. I would think that human resources would have something to say, wouldn't you?
Well, they're pretty busy with a lot of other things, so I don't know. But this week was worse than last week. He was laying on the mat doing it.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. AR Fox is a good victim, I guess.
Have they explained why scissors? Like, you know, you were a rich kid, you had a tennis racket because you were a rich putz playing tennis.
Well, I guess his father was a fucking haberdasher. I don't...
Should he be the barber? Ricochet the barber?
I was good, but now...
He hasn't cut anyone's hair now that I think about it.
The Phallus family and Don, they did a fancily colored and painted screwdriver, right? So I don't know what the scissors are, unless he's going to cut us out of his world like Charlie Manson.
I think Ricochet's over more as a heel right now than Moxley is.
Well, yeah, but now that's a bar that a fucking cricket could limbo under.
That's true.
Anyway, and there was notes then, or notes, excerpts, clips. I'm looking at my notes. There was clips of that giant marathon death dungeon deal with Renee and all of that crew in the basement. And another, I'm not watching these Jericho promos. I just can't. What in the world? It's so childish. I don't even know what they're trying to do, and they're taking Big Bill down with them. But then we got to the next match, Brian. Light Switch Jay White versus Wheelie Useless. And I was at that point in this match, or in this show, I was like, is this a rib? And 15 minutes later, 15 minutes, Jay White hit his finish, 1, 2, 3. And then he grabbed him up and he hit another one. And then the fans actually at that point said, oh, why don't you give him one more? They were somewhat interested. And then here came Dick the Boozer, who appeared and distracted Jay White while Claudio came from behind. And they all started fake kicking Jay White again. Just like the previous angle where they all fake kicked and fake got heat on. And then music played and Edge and FTR slid in and the heels bailed out. And Dax did a promo. He was mad that they tried to end Ricky Morton's career. He called him his, what'd he say, his 67-year-old hero. I'm thinking that's 3 or 4 years off, but I'm going to stay out of that fucking. The courts can rule on that later on. And then Dax plugged Dennis Condrey. Dennis lives in Huntsville, so he was there, and he got a free ticket, by the way, and swore on Dennis's name that they would beat the Boar Horsemen on Collision in a Mid-South street fight. And they were in Huntsville, Alabama, so they didn't have any connection to Mid-South wrestling, so they didn't necessarily pop on that or anything else in this segment, because what the fuck? But there you go. And you know, as an addendum to what I said earlier about urgency and the heels trying to get away with something, and you have to time these things, I thought of this a minute or so ago. If anybody wants to, I know it's on YouTube. I've seen it there. Maybe they've taken it down with the status of the network. Who knows what's going on? But the angle that the Midnight Express did with Brian Pillman and Tom Zink in Altoona, Pennsylvania on the Saturday night TBS program, where Bobby... 1990, they gave Pillman the leg to the Vegematic, the leg drop with Stan's bear hug, while my tennis racket was on his throat. That's an example of, you do a finish, the heels come in, they get some fucking heat, they do their damage, and then people come to try to stop it, and we played King of the Hill, and then it was too much and we had to get out of there. And the people were screaming and there was urgency to it. That's when I was still on the creative committee there in WCW for about 2 more weeks after we shot that. So I actually laid that out and produced that segment myself so that everybody would know when to come in and when to attempt to make a save and a blah, blah, blah. And the whole violent nature of the finish to angle to, or finish to brawl to angle to out was under 3 minutes. But it was chaotic minutes. This is just blah. Blah. This is just.
All right, no one likes that, but let's move on. Yeah, I think it's a little cringy. I don't know.
All right. Then Renee Moxley Good was on the stage with Maria May. And I think this show is brutal. And she actually said and got by with on TBS television, they should change Huntsville's name to start with a C. Boy, for a program that's losing instead of gaining viewers, they don't want to be friendly to the network, do they? Or
you
maybe
couldn't say
just...
foreign object.
No, yes, we got memos about, you can't say foreign object. So then they did a long earlier tonight recap that made me think for some reason that they were running fucking short or running long, or you know what I'm saying. Shit, we're almost
running on empty.
Event. Yeah, we're running on empty. And then, folks, once again, if I'm lying, I'm flying and my feet ain't left the ground. The main event of this program was the multiple girl belt title match with Mercedes Moon and Yuka Sakazaki. And Mercedes came out with all four of her Play Promotion belts. Together, they weigh more than she does. And here came Yuka, who is the magical girl. And she's dressed like Barbara Eden and I Dream of Jeannie for all you 60 to 75-year-old perverts out there. And this was the main event of the television program. And they even had Smiley Roberts do the ring introductions. And it's 10 minutes till 10. So everybody pretty much knows, well, no, we don't even usually watch the end of the program, but sometimes they have an angle, but no, what the fuck? And Yuka, it sounded to me like got a bigger pop than Mercedes because they they bore booed her like, And this got an overrun. They started out saying we're going to stay with this match until the conclusion, when they started doing the overruns. And it was great if it was a big main event title match or if it was done even a couple of times a month or what, but they were doing it as a ratings ploy to try to grab, what do we figure one time? 10 or 11,000 people onto their average. And at one point they did a 20-something minute overrun, but lately it's been 5, 6, 7 minutes. But now they got the Joe Schmo show. That important piece of television real estate is following this program. So they're getting 5 minutes and boom, and they need to get out of there because they don't want the hoes to miss Joe Schmo. So they must be contractually obligated now to get an overrun, because if there was ever a match that didn't deserve a network scheduling change, it would be this one. Wouldn't you agree, Brian? Have I soapboxed too much?
Again, if Joe Schmo's a priority, why would you have this overrun? Because the overruns never really, every now and then they do, but they never really gain viewers. So you're driving out more people before.
Well, remember, they used to gain some. When they started doing it, it was kind of a unique deal, and it was something that, and now it's like, no, they expect it. And they don't want to see it. I don't know what happened in this match.
Mercedes won. Mercedes moaned on.
Well, I was fast forwarding until I either saw some other talent involved in an angle because I didn't want to get false finished like Raw the other night, or Joe Schmo, and I saw Joe Schmo. So,
have you been watching it? Is it any good? I haven't watched it yet.
I hadn't got a chance to devote any time to it yet, but the description sounds better than AEW.
I wonder if they can get him, book him for some appearances. It would probably help them if they can announce Joe Schmo will be here next week on the show.
I think they have to wait until Joe finds out at the end of this series that he's a schmo. Because at the first part of it, they're working him, right? He doesn't know he's a schmo yet. He hadn't been schmoed. He hadn't been schmofied.
All right. Well, that was AEW Dynamite in Huntsville.
We've been schmofied.
We've been schmofied, and before we schmo on any longer, let's get to the ratings. AEW Dynamite, January 29th, 8 to 10:05 p.m. On average, watched by 604,000 viewers.
Oh, they're going back in the opposite direction of when they've been doing the past couple of weeks.
And again, they're trying to say that interest and ratings are going up. I think there may have been some other circumstances behind any raise in the numbers the last few weeks, but we'll talk a little bit about Collision also in a little while. But let's get to the quarter hours. And by the way, you brought up last week, down 8%. Last week was 655, 4-week average 634. So off 5% on that.
And have I heard rumors, hear tell on the interwebs that when they give out these numbers, this is now including the TBS and Max viewership? Can we get any confirmation on that from anybody?
You know, because I told you, I think maybe a week or two ago, this doesn't include Max, and you said, of course, and then I was like, yeah, of course. But I think I have read that, but I don't know how we have several people who work in television, so they'll probably get to us before anyone in wrestling.
Yes, we are trying to investigate this, but somebody's saying it says, well, which pretty much the numbers never changed. They went up a little, they went down a little. But it's the same thing. I think the same people are just watching however the fuck they're watching.
Again, go now. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, but tell me more.
Let's go to the quarter hours. These were compiled by WrestleNomics. Quarter 1, 8 to 8:15 p.m. Brian Cage versus Will Ospreay. 746,000 viewers.
Ouch. So right there, they took a hit from where they started last week of almost 100,000 or so, didn't they?
And you know, I didn't even realize it. No commercial break for the first quarter. Or first quarter. That is.
Yeah, maybe that's why it seemed especially long, that match.
We go to quarter 2, 8:15 to 8:30 p.m. The continuation of Ospreay versus Cage. The post-match with the Don Callis family, Kenny Omega, and that is a colon. So that is the end of that.
And wait a minute, what about Kenny Omega's colon?
Adam Page.
Having problems again?
Adam Page and MJF's backstage angle, an ad break, the Powerhouse Hobbs promo, and the start of Jeff Jarrett, the Last Outlaw, versus Claudio Castagnoli.
The Last Swissman.
679,000 viewers.
Okay, well, on the positive side, that's not as big a drop from quarter 1 to 2 as they had last week. That's only 67,000 people. That ain't bad.
We go to quarter 3, 8:30 to 8:45 p.m. The continuation of Claudio versus Jeff with picture-in-picture ads, and the post-match with MJF
and Jeff,
and then ad break. 601,000 viewers.
Ouch. Well, there went 78,000 more, and now they're down 145,000 in 45 minutes.
We go to quarter 4, 8:45 to 9 p.m. Ricochet's backstage promo and Ricochet versus AR Fox with picture-in-picture ads. 599,000 viewers.
Okay, well, it's only 2,000 people. It's a mental thing. They've gone from the 6s to the 5s, but really they held the audience. But unfortunately, the top of the hour is coming up. What happened there?
We go to the top of the hour, the big 9 o'clock hour, 9 to 9:15 p.m., quarter 5. The continuation of Ricochet versus Fox. The post-match with Swerve Strickland. An ad break. The Learning Tree promo. And the start of Jay White versus Wheeler Yuta. 585,000 viewers.
So it didn't bode well, as I said, and they lost another 14,000, and now they are down 161,000 viewers from that. But they've almost got to pick something up to get to their average here pretty soon.
Well, we go to, what is this now? This is quarter 6, 9:15 to 9:30 p.m. Jay White versus Wheeler Yuta continued. Is that you writing or is that Swami scratching something?
That was me scratching my head. Am I not allowed to scratch an itch?
I thought it was maybe Swami scratching to somehow he got to the door and he's saying, hey, I gotta pee. I didn't know what the hell it was. I guess what I'm saying is you scratching your head sounds like a dog scratching the door.
Well, that's because my paw is made for scratching. That's just what they'll do. One of these days, these paws are going to scratch the shit out of you.
The continuation of White versus Yuta with picture-in-picture and the post-match with the Death Riders and rated FTR, 593,000 viewers.
Okay, the modest gain of 8,000. That could have been some people getting home from dinner.
Well, dinner continues in quarter 7, 9:30 to 9:45 p.m. The Tony Storm Mariah May video, was that just a recap?
Yeah, basically.
The Mariah May ramp promo.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't even talk about this. The Guns video.
Well, remember I was skipping through shit. I didn't know the Guns had a video, but Mariah called Huntsville, basically.
Yeah, and then they did a video for the Guns, so they're on the way back. And the Hurt Syndicate backstage promo, followed by an ad break. 546,000 viewers.
Oh, good Lord. That's 200,000 exactly since the start of the program. So they've already lost over 25% of their initial audience.
But wait, there's more.
What did you could do?
We go now to quarter 8. I remind you, we have a 5-minute overrun. Quarter 8, 9:45 to 10 p.m. Deonna Purrazzo and Taya Valkyrie's backstage promo. And the start of Mercedes Moné versus Yuka Sakazaki with picture-in-picture. 514,000 viewers.
Ouch.
5-minute overrun. The continuation of Yuka versus Moné. 518,000 viewers.
So that's 232,000 viewers, which they started with 746 and they lost 232. I think they lost 33%, didn't they? 230.
I will trust your math. You're a wise man.
6. No, they lost 30%. They didn't quite lose 33. It would be somewhere around 30% of the audience. Good night.
And again, the featured stuff on that show, you have Mercedes Moné and the women in the main event spot. But the main event spot typically doesn't do very good on these shows lately. The Moxley stuff, the Jeff Jarrett stuff.